This is lesson 6, identifying proportional and non-proportional relationships in tables. Our first example says you have been hired by your neighbors to babysit their children on Friday night. You are paid $8 per hour. Complete the table relating your pay to the number of hours you worked. Well, if I worked 1 hour, I get $8. Okay. So now if I work 2 hours, 2 times 8 is 16. If I work 3 hours, 3 times 8 is 24. 4 times 8 is 32. Notice what we have here. We have 4.5 hours. So 4.5 hours then would be 36. 5 hours would be 40. 6 would be 48. And then 6.5 would be 54. It says, based on the table above, is the pay proportional to the hours worked? And how do you know? Yes, it is proportional because each number was multiplied by the same number per hour. It says, write the equation that relates the amount of pay given, write the equation that relates the number, write the equation that relates the amount of pay given the number of hours worked. Well, if you notice on the first line here, that is our unit rate. So if we go with our general equation, y equals kx, our unit rate is 8, so I can replace k with 8, so it's y equals 8x. Our next example, it says for exercises 1 through 3, determine if y is proportional to x and justify your answer. The table below represents the relationship of the amount of snowfall in inches in 5 counties to the amount of time in hours of a recent winter storm. So here we have y over x and snowfall over time. So here we have 10 over 2. Well, that simplifies to 5. We have 12 over 6. Well, that simplifies to 2. And there we can stop right there because that does not simplify to the same number. And because that does not simplify to the same number, it is not proportional. So here we can say no. All ratios do not simplify to the same number. The next exercise says the table below shows the relationship between the cost of renting a movie in dollars to the number of days the movie is rented. So again, we have y over x, and we have the cost over days. So here we have 2 over 6, which simplifies to 1/3. 3 over 9, that simplifies to 1/3. We have 8 over 24, that simplifies to 1/3. And then we have 1/3. So in this case, they all simplify to the same number. So for here, what we have is yes, all ratios, simplify, to the same number. The next one, and I apologize, it goes on to the next page, says the table below shows the relationship between the amount of candy bought in pounds and the total cost of candy in dollars. So here we have y over x, and we have cost over candy, well, over pounds actually, so we'll say pounds. So here we have 10 over 5, which is 2. We have 8 over 4, which is 2. We have 12 over 6, which is 2. We have 16 over 8, which is 2. Equals 2. And we have 20 over 10, which also equals 2. So in this case, yes, all ratios, simplify, to the same number. Our next question says Randy is planning to drive from New Jersey to Florida. Every time Randy stops for gas, he records the distance he traveled in miles and the total number of gallons used. Assume that the number of miles driven is proportional to the number of gallons consumed in order to complete the table. So we know that it's proportional. We just have to make sure that we find the unit rate so that we can finish this table. So to find the unit rate, first of all, we have to label our x and y. Now we have y over x. And in this case, we have miles over gallons. So we have 54 over 2, which is going to equal 27 over 1, or 27, which we get 27 miles to the gallon. So to find our numbers that are missing, the first one, we can multiply 27 times 4 to get our answer of 108. And because we have the y value, we divide by our unit rate of 27, and that number is 7. Here we have 10 in the x value, so again we're going to multiply 27 times 10, and we get 270. And here we're going to multiply 27 times 12 and get 324. Our next question, and again, it went on to the next page. Bella types at a constant rate of 42 words per minute. Is the number of words she can type proportional to the number of minutes she can type? Create a table to determine the relationship. Well, because she can type 42 words per minute, that means for 1 minute here, she can type the 42 words. Because it's asking us to complete the table, I can take each one of the minutes. Again, we have x here and we have y here. So we have the words over the minutes and y over x. But because we have the x, I can multiply 42 times each of these. So 42 times 2 is going to give me 84. 42 times 3 is going to give me 126. 42 times 4 is going to give me, oh, sorry, that's a 6. Sorry about that. So 42 times 6, that's going to give me 252. And then 42 times 60 is going to give me 2,520. All right, so it wants to know, is the number of words she can type proportional to the number? And the answer is yes. Because you can multiply (42) to each value of x starting with 1. Now it says Mark recently moved to a new state. During the first month, he visited 5 states. So it's the first month he visited 5 states. So month 1, we can put that in. He visited 5 states. Each month after, oh, sorry guys. Each month after, he visited 2 more months. Complete the table below and use the results to determine if the number of parks visited is proportional to the number of months. Well, if he visited each month after, he visited 2 more. Well, 5 plus 2 is 7. And then 2 more after that is 9. Well, if I keep going, so month 4 would be 11. Month 5 would be 13. 6 would be 15. 7 would be 17. 8 would be 19. 9 would be 21. And 10 would be 23. So now to find out if it's proportional or not, we have x here and we have y. So we have y over x, and we have the number of parks over months. So we have 5 over 1, which is 5. And we have 7 over 2. Well, that equals 3.5. Well, I can stop right there because the answer is going to be no. All the ratios. Do not simplify to the same number. And that ends our lesson.